My Tacoma is taking a beating 1 year in, and I've got a few minor problems. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? Pretty good here, and that's right. My Tacoma is taking a beating. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to be accused of being a clickbaiter. These aren't major problems, but for me, who is particular, they're problems nonetheless. What I'm talking about, these are cosmetic issues, blemishes, paint problems with my Toyota Tacoma. Now, this truck is just over a year old. I've had it for a year, doesn't have tons of miles on it, admittedly, probably less, if I recall, than 4,000, less than 5,000, something like that, because I split the time between this truck and that truck. So it's not gonna have tons and tons of miles, but I still do have a few problems, a few blemishes on the truck. And you know, everybody always says out there that Toyota uses really poor quality paint, right? That it's prone to chipping, prone to problems. There have even been complaints about the white trucks in particular and not holding up very well. Now, I've always taken that with a grain of salt. I always think, yeah, right. It's just people being picky. You know how you are, just being picky, just like me. So we're gonna take a walk around. I wanna show you what I'm talking about. There's one that bothers me more than any of the rest. We'll save that one for last. But let's start back here on the tailgate. I have a blemish that I fixed, and I am by no means a body shop or painter, and that's probably why it came out like it did. But let's take a look right here in the corner. Now I know this is small. Hopefully the camera even picks it up. But right here in the corner, there was a chip in this truck, in the paint when I got it. Now, I know a lot of you are gonna say, well, gee, why didn't you take it back in? Because every time I've taken a truck, well, not every time, but a lot of times when I've taken the truck to the dealership, it's created other problems. Either they dent it, chip it, scratch it, wreck it, who knows? So I didn't want to do that for something like this. It is rather minor. I did touch it up with, you know, the old pen, the old voodoo blue paint pen that you get. But nonetheless, it's still there. I know it. And every time I come back here to do something, you know, like adding the tail lights or whatever, I notice this is there. Not a big deal. It doesn't ruin my experience, don't get me wrong. But I do know that it's there. Now, let's move up to the front, because not too long ago, I had another painting opportunity. That's what we'll call it. These things are opportunities to exercise your painting skills. Right up here in the front, there was another ding, another chip right there. And you can see I had painted it. It's right there. I had painted it, and apparently the shading of the paint, or maybe it's the contour of the dent, I don't know, it's still slightly dented. I didn't get it exactly flush with the rest of the paint, but it provides for a darker spot, a shadow, if you will. You can see that right there in the video. Now, that was most likely caused by some sort of an errant rock, a rock that had my number that day. I'd love to put my hands on that rock. But anyway, it was a chip that I got, probably from a rock. It was down to the clear coat, or the base coat, I guess, you know, the white that you can see underneath. So again, I broke out my little paint pen thing, and I brushed it and did the best that I could, but still visible. And I notice these things, particularly when I'm washing the truck, you know, and I'm particular about it. I pay extra special attention to this truck when I park it anywhere, when I'm following behind people, especially semis, things like that that throw up junk. I actually was behind a tanker truck, and I think it was my Tundra, in my last Tundra. And I was off back to the left, not close to them, and that thing threw up a rock about the size of a boulder, it felt like. It wasn't. But it threw up a rock, and it chipped and cracked my windshield. What a bummer. And I thought I was doing the right thing by staying away. I was really more concerned about the paint. Really didn't cross my mind that something was going to hit my windshield. but it did. Now, the biggest one that I have, and this must have been a pretty good hunk of something, I don't know. But let's take a look on the side. This is actually in the fender flare, and it's right here. Might be kind of hard to see. You got to have the right lighting for the camera. Definitely not hard to see with the naked eye. And it's right there. Looks like it might be a dirt spot, right? They'll give you a little better perspective of what that looks like. What it is a scrape almost. I guess I'd liken it to a scrape in the plastic itself. I had looked at that. I thought at first it was dirt or something on there, but it's not. Something actually hit here and actually made a gouge. That's what we'll call it, a gouge in the fender flare on my truck. This one is probably the one that bothers me the most because I see it every time I walk by the truck. I look down, you know, trying to see how dirty it is on whatever day, and this pops right out. Right here beside it, you see how that just wiped off? That was just dirt. Not so here. It is some sort of a gouge in the plastic. Now, I had thought about maybe trying to sand it, maybe taking like an X-Acto knife or something and just cutting the lip of it off. Because of course, with it being pushed up on the side like it is, it catches the light and that catches my eye. However, I have refrained from doing that because I'm afraid of making it worse, to be honest. But I may still address that eventually, see if I can't make that look a little bit better. Other than that, I gotta say, it doesn't have any other blemishes on it that I'm aware of. In waxing it and washing it, I haven't come across anything else that stands out that's any kind of a problem. So it looks pretty good. Thought I saw something right there. But it's done pretty good, although I want to say that with an asterisk, and that is, I don't have 20,000 miles on the truck. You know, and if I did, let's say that would be 5 times what I have right now. Would I have 5 times the dents and dings and blemishes? Is Toyota's paint really that inferior? I don't know. I don't know. Leave a comment, let me know. I'd be curious. What are you experiencing with your Tacoma? Are you having these same kind of little irritating issues? I know this isn't a world-changing problem, but are you having some of these same kind of issues? Are you noticing chips and dents? Do you have any gouges in the plastic around your fender flares or on the fender flare like I do? I'd be curious to know. One other thing I do want to mention, and I'm not sure how the camera will pick it up, and I want to mention this because I see a lot of comments about it, and that is this little different finish down here on the side. On the bottom of the doors, it goes all the way up. What this is put on there intentionally to kind of stop rock chips and stuff. A lot of people have asked, is there a problem? And I must admit, I am guilty of that myself. When I had my Barcelona red Tacoma, I had it up on the lift and that caught my eye. And I thought, oh man, did they screw up my paint? So quickly, I ran around to the other side because, you know, if it's in more than one place, you probably can assume it's normal. And of course it was. Then I did some research and discovered for myself that, yeah, that's not really a problem. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know if you've had any issues with your truck. Also, real quick, if you're interested, I do have 2 additional channels. The first is my newest channel. It is RobMotive Tundra, focusing on the new or the upcoming redesigned Tundra. I will be adding that to the channel. And RobMotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator, sitting right out there. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.